It is safe to say that our parents should be the most important to all of us, regardless of where you come from. After all, the very life that we are living was brought into this world by them, through hardships and sufferings. However, the sad truth is that many children forget this, and go to great distances to argue with their parents and break their heart. And maybe for something as simple as not having their favourite food prepared for lunch, or for something borderline unreasonable, like not buying them the latest and greatest expensive gadget. They even go as far as to antagonize their parents if they do not have the wealth to throw around for each and every one of their impulses. It is safe to say that appreciating what you have is not a trait that comes easy to many. Greetings, salutations, and welcome to our channel. Today, we are here to cover the story of Habil, a man that should be an inspiration for many of us. As always, before we begin, make sure to press that like button and subscribe to our channel to support us so that we can keep bringing you more quality stories like this. Also, if you don't want to miss a single one of our uploads, press the bell notification button and turn on YouTube notifications on your smartphone. Without further ado, let us jump right into this video. Habil is your average 26-year-old that lived in Malaysia. He has been smart and hardworking since childhood. However, life was not the best for him, since he grew up in a financially struggling household. He sometimes did not have enough money to buy himself a decent meal. Many others in his financial position will either complain or start blaming the system. Habil was different. Habil decided to act in order to change his future for the better. Ever since he was young, he had come to the decision that he would do all in his power to climb out of poverty. This caused Habil to study hard in school and at home, while other children of his age preferred to play football in the backyard or just run amok. All of the hard work that he put into school paid off, as Habil finished school with colours, and even got a scholarship to a well-known prestigious university. He did not stop there, as he worked hard besides his peers and graduated from his batch with honours. The goal that Habil set himself when he was young was finally coming around, as all doors were open to him from that point on. Of all places that he could have worked for, Habil decided to apply for a position in a progressive company within his home country that was owned by a well-known entrepreneur that goes by the name of Azri Walter. Even if he was green when it comes to corporate work and was relatively new to the company, he proved himself as he worked hard from day one. Of course, his hard-working nature was acknowledged by his higher-ups, as 6 months later, he was given a higher position with a monthly salary that was somewhere around 5,000 Malaysian ringgit, which is about $1,200 US. As he took a hard look at himself, he realized that his dream was well within reach, as his salary was more than enough for him to comfortably live a luxurious life with no financial setback whatsoever. After obtaining such a position, many expected Habil's lifestyle to change, but instead they were surprised by it for completely different reasons. It was a norm for other office workers to usually gather at a nearby bar to relax after work. However, Habil was different, as he always brought lunch from home and refrained from spending money on food outlets. In fact, it was seen that Habil was rarely spending money on himself for any reason. It was clear that he focused on saving money, as he cut costs at every turn when it came to entertainment, food, and even clothes. He was usually seen wearing the same few articles of clothing, and for those who were not in the know, it is easy to come to the conclusion that Habil was simply unable to afford much, but that was simply far from the truth. This behavior from Habil caused other workers from his company to consider him a rebel and a cheapskate. It was like wildfire, and the word was spread so far and wide that it even reached the CEO of the company. While Azri believed that it was the right of the holder of the money to spend it as he or she sees fit, even he did not understand the reasoning behind Habil's habits. Why would someone with a highly paid managerial position be so tight with their earnings? Of course, everyone's perspective on Habil as a cheapskate would have continued, if not for this particular incident that took place sometime later. One day, sometime after work hours, the CEO Azri Walter turned back to the office to grab some documents that he needed. While he was heading to his office, that was in one of the topmost floors, he noticed that one of the rooms in a lower floor had its lights still turned on. This puzzled Azri. It was a Friday night, and usually employees are never found in the office after hours on that day. Azri was curious to see who was dedicated enough to stay behind the office after hours on such a day. As Azri made his way to the office in question, he could not help but hear some weird sounds coming from inside. However, when he opened the door, the sight that greeted him surprised him. I went straight to the room and opened the door. To my surprise, there was no one to be seen. I looked closer and saw a shadow under the desk. I could not understand what was going on, but can you imagine? I even got goosebumps, Azri later wrote on his social media. When Azri looked under the table, he saw something that he thought he would never see in a million years. He was face to face with Habil on the floor with a rice cooker right beside him. "Habil, what are you doing here? What are you cooking on the floor?" Azri inquired from Habil, still confused. Of course, when he was discovered, Habil was terrified as his eyes scurried in fear. He didn't expect anyone to return back to the office, especially on a Friday night. In a shaky tone, he replied, "I'm sorry, I'm cooking rice on the floor, on the office. I did not get to eat anything today. I'll quickly clean everything away right now. Please, just don't fire me, I beg you." Azri Walter was surprised by this for many reasons. After all of his employees got paid the day before. He also personally knew that Habil's salary included enough money for him to eat outside, even at a well-known expensive restaurant, without breaking the bank one bit. Knowing all of this, Azri's curiosity grew, as he decided to find out what was happening in Habil's life. After all, no normal person would be cooking rice on the floor in an office, when they earn as much as Habil does. Azri Walter later commented on his experience on his Facebook page. "We should take the time to really get to know our employees. Some of them are worthy of our highest respect." It turns out that the initial assumption that many had regarding Habil was dead wrong. When his story was revealed, many discovered that Habil is a person that should be a role model for all of them. Habil told Azri his story, which brought everything into perspective. "My father died when I was 19. Before that, we were not rich, but there was always enough food. Love and understanding reigned in our home, and we were brought up to be content with what we have. However, after Dad died, we starved because he was the only breadwinner in our family. I tried to help my mother in every possible way, even in my student years. I had a part-time job which brought in a little money home. Since then, I've been providing not only for myself, but also for my mother and 3 younger brothers. They still go to school and they need new clothes, and in general, I do not want them to be lacking in things. They're still kids, and I'm like a father to them. Although my mother does not want to accept my help and money, I can see that she's having a hard time coping on her own." That was what Habil revealed to Azri. It was later found out that Habil had been sending more than half of his monthly salary back home for his mother and younger brothers. And he's been doing this for a few years already. He used the rest of the remaining money to rent a small room for himself and cheap food. His mother and brothers lived far away in a different town. "I'm grateful to her for giving me life and a happy childhood. I'm grateful to her for her love and care, for always believing in me and supporting me. As long as I have arms and legs, I will not allow my family to want for anything. I wish you would see my younger brothers. Each of them has their own personality. Even though they're not making money yet, they try their best to help out through housework. I want to be a real role model for them," Habil continued. Even if Habil was a young man, his reasoning and heart was that of a grown and loving, matured adult. Right there, standing in the small office room, I could hardly hold back my tears. I was so proud of him, Azri later wrote. Habil's story made Azri re-examine his own life and values. While many other young men worked so hard to earn money in order to buy themselves expensive things, Habil spent very little and sent most of his money back home to sustain those he cherishes the most. Looking at this young man, I'd realized that I had completely forgotten about my parents, whom I rarely visit. This weekend, I'm definitely going home, Azri Walter added in his recollection of the story. The hardworking employee has inspired the CEO with his actions. We've now reached the end of our video, and that's the end of today's story. What did you think? If you'd like more heartwarming stories just like this, subscribe to our channel and press that bell button to get an update every single time we upload a new video. Make sure to like this video and share it with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and see you all next time.